Biafra, superstars, media.
My people, my Biafran people, now how on a day? I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending from where you're listening to the sound of my voice. This one, na Biafra Superstars Media, and I'm holding it down. I say may God bless Biafra, and may God bless His Excellency Oyendo Mazenamde Kano. May God bless His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile, His Excellency, ESN, Ekpa, Simon and Jocko, for the job Simon is doing. Simon, want to say we love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you, because we know in your hands Biafra is coming, in your hands Biafra is safe, and in your hands when Biafra comes, the people of Biafra will rejoice. My fellow Biafrans, I will say I told you so. For those in the Zoom media, they claim 287 children were kidnapped in Kaduna. Over 17 days ago, they were crying, they were yelling, they were quaking, they were begging God, they were begging Allah, they were begging Jesus for the return of the 287 men. Also, Buhari, what's his name? Tinubu, he vowed. He came out boldly, he was swinging. He was talking very, very tough. He said he's vowing out. He said oh my God, I'm laughing, my people, I'm laughing. This is so funny, Oh my God. Oh my God, mercy. This is a comedy, my people. I don't want to laugh. I have a very sore throat. I don't want to laugh. This is a comedy. Anyway, Tinubu was shouting. Tinubu was angry. Tinubu was boasting live on TV. He vowed he would not pay any ransom to the kidnappers. He vowed he would. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know if it's the medication making me to laugh, you know. I'm taking some medication, so I'm laughing. Anyway, when he was shouting, he said he would not pay no money to no terrorist. But today, my people, what you're about to see, they say when a corny man dies, a corny man go bury him. If corny man die, corny man go bury him. When Tinubu was claiming a Milocon, when he did 419 to the caliphate, when he acted like he was sick, and because of his sickness, the cabal, they assumed he was going to die in office, so they agreed to allow Tinubu to be president, thinking that within 6 months, Shetima would take over. So when they saw that after Tinubu became president, his voice was strong, his hands stopped shaking, his legs stopped shaking, he stopped urinating on himself. They now said Tinubu has done them 419. They now knew that Tinubu was a Jagaban. He is a wise man. But as a payback, they decided to do to Tinubu what they did to Jonathan. They want to do to Tinubu what they did to Goodluck Jonathan. So in the case of Goodluck Jonathan, you heard about the bring back the girls or bring back our girls. In the case of Tinubu, they claim 287 school children were kidnapped. And now suddenly, Tinubu said he will not pay any money. But suddenly we saw what is happening in that zoo. The zoo media, they were in shock when just last night, children were being freed. 137 of them were being freed. And now the zoo media, they are scared to ask those questions. How come they were freed? Were they paid any money? Was there any ransom paid? They refused to ask those questions. Or for this video alone, I will take the perspective of the Western media. I will show you how the Western media, they are asking the right questions. I will show you how the Western media, they are asking the correct questions. I will show you what is the difference between bowing down to your politicians and asking stupid questions as done by the Zoo media compared to the critical, analytical questions, the in-depth questions, a more robust questions asking or being asked by the Western media. This man you are seeing here, you will see the way he broke it down. When he was asking a Fulani man, how come the kids were afraid and how come there was no payment of ransom? Are you just saying that the kidnappers just released them without any money? Or did they just have a kind heart and said they have repented, they are now born again, and they release the children? And how come you said before it was 287 children that were kidnapped? The governor did not dispel that number. The Zoo media did not dispel that number. And now suddenly when they are being released, we only saw 137 children. And now the governor is bouncing, he's gallivanting, and he's boasting that yes, the children released or the ones kidnapped were just 137. Today, I want to show you how good journalism is done. Today, I want to show you how they should be breaking down journalism, how it's done in the Western world. At least these guys, they are in the Arab world, but their own thinking is still good because you will see the critical questions they asked those politicians and stakeholders in the zoo. If you are with me, follow me in this journey. See the way a real journalism is done. I will make this video only for the Western media people. And the next video I will do it and I will show the one of the zoo. The way the zoo, they are reporting the same release of the victims. If you are with me, let us go there. Listen.
It's a relief for these children and their families after 2 weeks of ordeal. Following a rescue operation launched by the Nigerian army on Friday, these 17 kids can finally return home. They had been kidnapped by armed men on March 9th during an attack on their school in Sokoto State.
This is a result of deliberate efforts by all security agencies, both here and that of Zamfara State, to ensure the safe passage and recovery of these abducted children. So we want to assure the people of Sokoto State of our commitments to ensure that life and property are safe and secure.
Since the beginning of the month, Nigeria has seen a wave of mass kidnappings in the north of the country. On March 7th, over 250 children were snatched from a school in Kuriga. Their families are desperately waiting for their return. Last week, more than 100 people were kidnapped in northwest Nigeria in 2 separate attacks in Kaduna State. Kidnappings by criminal gangs demanding ransom have become an almost daily occurrence. They target schools, villages, and highways where they can quickly kidnap large numbers of people.
We have a serious problem, and we're suffering because of the bandits who have come into our community and kidnapped our children and relatives. We don't know peace in our community.
These successive waves of large-scale kidnappings represent a major challenge for President Tinubu, who was elected based on his promises to tackle the issue. However, according to risk management consultancy firm SBM Intelligence, almost 5,000 people have been abducted since the president took office in May last year.
All 287 of the school students abducted in northern Nigeria earlier this month have been freed. The victims, some as young as 4, were taken from their school in Kuriga in the northern Kaduna state earlier this month. It's not yet clear if a military operation freed them or if a ransom was paid. Well, joining us on the phone from Abuja is Abdulaziz. He's a special assistant to the Nigerian president on media. Sir, can you explain to us in what circumstances the release of these students was secured?
Well, thank you for having me. Actually, this is something that took days. As you knew, or as you earlier said, the abduction actually occurred on the 7th of March, like some 16 days ago. And since that time, the president gave a marching order to the security forces and the heads of, security agencies to ensure that these students are freed in good time and intact. And in the early hours of today, they were finally released by their abductors. And of course, it took a lot of back channel engagements in which the president directed that money should not be involved, and money was not involved in this operation.
Are you saying no ransom was paid, sir?
No ransom was paid because, the president had earlier stated that ransom would not be paid because the government believed that the terrorists, those engaged in such kind of heinous acts, should not be rewarded by.
If I can jump in,
Listen to what this man will ask him now. This is what I expect of our Zoom media, but they don't do it. Hear the way the interviewer is probing the Fulani man, who is an aide to Tinubu. Hear the way he's probing him with questions. But in Nigeria, they will tell you, don't ask no questions. Just thank God, thank Allah that the children, they are back. They are safe. No question, no probing. Hear the way next. Hear what this man will ask. Hear what the interviewer from the Western world. Hear the way he will probe further, that how come you are saying no ransom was paid? Listen, this is the difference between the Western media and the Zoom media. This is the difference between the Western media and the Gotham media, who are scared of their masters. Listen to the difference between an independent media and a slaved or an enslaved media. Watch the next question. It will blow your mind. Listen.
Ransom was paid. What compelled the abductors to release all the students in their captivity?
Well, there are many things that can be done in the back channel.
Such as what?
There are details that we may not be able to state. But going by previous experience, there are instances of some concessions that the government feel is not really harmful to to the overall security of the country, or will not compromise national security. So such concessions could be done in a situation like this.
Okay, so there could be concessions to abductors, is what you're saying. Concessions made that would not involve the payment of ransom money.
Yes.
So first of all, speaking about these students, how are they doing? What is your information on them?
Hold on there. What you are seeing now, this is a real situation of children that are being freed. You see the trauma in their face. You see how their hair is looking rough. You see how they look unkept. This is a real picture of people being freed, where it was a real kidnap. But the one that happened just yesterday, I call it a paddy freedom. A so-called kidnap and release was a paddy one, because they were all dressing up very well. They were dressing in the same Ashoebi, what they call Ashoebi uniforms. They were dressing well. Even the young boys, they shaved their hair. They are all having shaved hair. How can you be in captivity for 2 weeks and you have a shaved hair? I will show you that revelation after this discussion. Listen.
That with the students have reported that they are all fine, they are well, all the 137 of them. And that's also one.
This girl crying now, you can see the picture. This is real. A victim. This is a real victim. This is not what happened yesterday. This video is from a different, the picture you are seeing is from a previous kidnap or whatever. I will show you what happened just yesterday, the children that were released, and you will see the difference. You will see how those ones, they are looking very fresh and all that. I will show you that in a minute. But what you are seeing here is real. Continue.
That we would have to make, because a lot of reporting, including in your intro, you mentioned that 287, which is not official figure, it was just figures being bandied around, but the actual figure is 137, comprising of some 61, 71 female and I think 65 male students.
Okay.
So all of them were released. All of them were fine at the time of when they are currently being transported to the capital of Kaduna.
137 students, then, not 287. We'll make a note of that.
Yes.
The official number that you're providing, and we thank you for that. What, if anything, do you know or have you been able to learn about the conditions in which they were being held captive? What was their life like for the last 16 days?
Very good question. What was their life like for the past 16 days? What was their life like for the past 16 days? If you've been held for 16 days and gain your freedom, you should be looking unkempt. You should be looking rough. Your hair should be scanty and all that. I will come back to this question, but let us go back. Listen this. Watch this. Watch the kids coming in from their freedom. Watch. Watch this. It will blow your mind.
It's a relief.
Can you see how fresh they are looking? All the boys, they have what they call in Nigeria, Gorimakpa. It shows you somebody who has been held for 16 days, they won't be looking this way. Look at the hair. Your hair will normally grow. Every day the hair grows. For 16 days, nobody who has been held for 16 days will have a skin head, what they call a skull head or a gorimapa in Nigerian Zoo language. So that's a giveaway. That's how you know that these kids were held somewhere. Tinubu, we told you, for the fact you played the caliphate, you did 419 to the caliphate by claiming you were sick. So they assumed you would die in power, so they made you president. Now that they see that you are hale and hearty, now they see that you are very strong, they are angry with you, Tinubu. You have to pay. They will do you this throughout your whole 4 years. You will keep on paying and paying the caliphate. They are angry. Look at the video here now. Watch the way these kids, they are looking fresh. Watch. Then we'll go back. Watch.
For these children and their families after 2 weeks of ordeal following a rescue.
This is a capture of at least 7 to 8, 10 boys. You can see their head. They all have skinned head. It is not done. If you were held for 2 weeks, 17 days as they claim, there is no way your head will still be Gorimakpa. That's to show you they were held somewhere. They were having a good time somewhere. This was politically motivated. What is happening in the zoo when you turn on your third eyes, when you take a deeper look, when you do an in-depth analysis, when you carry out a critical analysis, a forensic analysis, and you start looking at the picture they are presenting you, you will see that something is not right. I showed you the picture of those girls crying. You see how they look rough. You see how their parents could feel the pain of their children. But in this case, what you are seeing here, it looked like some children who just went on holiday and they are back having a good time. They look fresh. Their hair is skinned. It means they have a clean haircut before they were released. Tell me how you will have a haircut in the bush if you are really held in the bush. My fellow Biafrans, this is why we are leaving that zoo. Nigeria is a banana republic. Nigeria cannot be trusted. What you are seeing here is evidence that these children were not kidnapped. It's a way to punish Tinubu for playing a fast one on the cabal. As the saying goes, only a thief can tell the footsteps of another thief. When a conning man dies, a conning man will bury that person. In the Zoo language, they say, conning man die, conning man bury him. Look at the kids, see how they are fresh. Look at their hair, they are fresh. Somebody who is held for 2 weeks will not have clean hair like this. Clean cut. This is a very clean haircut. Very, very clean haircut.
Operation launched by the Nigerian army on Friday. These 17.
You see that? All the boys there. This is how you use your third eye. These guys, they are not clever. The cabal, they are not clever. They are sloppy. They are sloppy when they make mistakes like this. Look at all the boys. They have the same haircuts. They wear them the same clothing, but you catch them with the hair because they want to assume, oh, they have kidnapped them, now they brought them to the governor. Look at their hair, the same haircut. You don't barb your hair in the thick forest. You don't barb your hair in Sambisa forest. No kidnapper will have the time to shave the hair of their victims. This is how you catch the caliphate. This is how you decode the nonsense they are doing. But let's take it back to what our friend was saying, the Western guy. Let's take it back there. Listen.
The conditions in which they were being held captive, what was their life like for the last 16 days?
Well, of course, you can imagine that it will be quite horrible going by the fact that these are small children and teenagers who are taken into custody in a very inhabitable environment, and that could be quite telling on them. But the good news is that there had not been any issue of, for now, any reports of maltreatment or harassment as such. But of course, they would have to suffer maybe because they may not be able to shelter properly or to eat properly. And that is some of the early things that the government would ensure is done immediately to check the status of their health as they arrive at Kaduna before they are eventually handed over to their families.
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for taking some time to speak to us on the program this hour. Abdulaziz, Special Assistant to the Nigerian President.
Now, my people, let us listen to the Zoo media, what they are saying in terms of how these so-called 137 children were released. From 128, it is now, no, from 287, it is now 137. The game, why they said it was 287, was to charge the Tinubu government more money because they will work the maths that per head, if we are paying 1 million per head, when you multiply it by 287, that will be 287 million. You see the game? So that's what they did. That's why they put a very high figure, a very high number. And now that they have paid money and they have released them, they have now come back to say, no. The number 287 is wrong. The correct number is 137. But when they were calculating the money they paid to those men, they calculated based on 287. Do you now get the 419? When I say, when Koniman die, Koniman bury him, now you understand what I'm saying. The 419 within the 419, coming from the 419 through the 419, done by the 419. They said the kidnappers, they kidnap people, and it was 287. When the Zoo government and Tinubu had to pay that money, they were negotiating based on what? 287. On the media side, up till yesterday, the number we had was 287 children. And suddenly, now that they are released, they are saying, no, 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 no. You are wrong. You are very, very wrong. The number is 137. The negotiator must have paid based on 287. They are deceiving themselves. We know they paid money. We know it's a way to get on Tinubu for playing them. Tinubu played them a fast one. From now to the next 4 years, Tinubu government will go through this. You don't mess with the cabal. Tinubu, you made a big mistake. You made a big mistake messing with the cabal. When you did them 419, when you were shaking, you even planned with Wole Soyinka. Now I know you planned with his men, the Aye boys. They were singing, Baba we know well, it is say Miloko, hand they shake, leg they shake. Baba we know well, it is say Miloko. It was planned, my people. It was planned. Tinubu planned with Soyinka, and Soyinka told his men to make that song. That was the premise. From the music, people now assumed that Tinubu was a sick man. From the music by what they call them, the Aye boys, by the boys of Wole Soyinka, his group, the Aye. When they sang that song, it went through all the media where they said Tinubu's hand is shaking, his leg is shaking. Baba we know well. It was a coded message to the caliphate to make the caliphate assume that Tinubu is sick, to make them assume he will die in office within 6 months because he's shaking, he's peeing on himself. We saw that video of pee on his back. That was water. It was planned. It was staged. The one from the airport in the plane where he raised his hand and there was needle and there was a line on his hand. That was planned. It was staged for the caliphate. That was the only way Tinubu will be allowed to rule Nigeria. Because the caliphate, they had a candidate. Do not forget, they had a candidate for APC. Buhari, that criminal, he had a candidate for APC. So Tinubu was now crying, saying how he helped Buhari. Why does Buhari want to let him down in the 11th hour? And suddenly, he was now saying, Balabu, Bulaba, 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 Balablu, Balablu. And people now assume, oh, he's losing his mind. He's having schizophrenia and all those things. When he was shaking, his leg was shaking. They said, oh, okay. Allow him to be president. He will die in office. That was the 419 of the genius. The man they call the Jagaban. The man who is clever. He knew how to play the caliphate. But unknown to him, now that he's talking very well, now that he's moving very well, after becoming president, he's moving very well. The cabal now know he has tricked them. The cabal now know that he has hoodwinked them. The cabal now knows that Tinubu has done them 419. So they are angry. Now they are doing what they know how to do best. Through kidnapping, they will keep on going from state to state, picking up children, keeping them in a nice place, and Tinubu government has to pay. That is the game of the caliphate. Be careful when you deal with the caliphate, Tinubu. You have made a big mistake. They have found you out, and they are not happy. At this point, my people, make we hear the zoo journalists. Let us hear the zoo media, how they break their own story down. You have heard from the Western media. It is time to hear from the zoo media. If you are with me, let us go there. Listen.
Abdulaziz, Special Assistant to the Nigerian President.
It's freedom at last for the abducted students of LEA Primary School and Government Secondary School, Kuriga, in Chikun Local Government Area of Kaduna State. The children were abducted by bandits who attacked their schools located within the same premises on March 7. On Monday, the children were brought to the Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House for their official handover to Governor Ubasani.
Hold on there. Let's go back a bit, I beg. Hold on there.
Government House for...
Hold on there. Can you see the uniform? This is the game. When I tell you that these guys were picked somewhere, kept somewhere, they took their measurement and they sewed them uniform. I know what I was saying. Anybody who has been freed will not have to go through all this special VIP ceremony. No, it's not done. You saw the video of that young girl before, about 10 minutes ago. She was crying. Her mother was hugging her. You could feel the pain. You could feel the passion of the community of that area, the parents, how they were crying. What you are seeing here is a jamboree. You are seeing a jamboree before your eyes. Unfortunately, this will not stop. This will not stop because the cabal, they are angry. They are angry. Let's continue. Hear what they are saying. Listen.
the official handover to Governor Ubasani.
The abducted Kuriga school children.
The general officer commanding the 1 Merchandise Division gives an update on the medical situation of the victims and their teacher.
The abducted Kuriga school children have, were in the early hours of yesterday, Sunday, 24th March 2020, safely rescued after spending about 16 days in captivity. The students were initially received and administered first aid at the Nigerian Army Troops Forward Operating Base.
For Governor Sani, these are exciting times as he warns against anybody fomenting conflict in the state.
We should not politicize the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. And that is the reason why we are very discreet in the way we approach this issue, and today we are successful. But any attempt to continue to undermine the effort of the security agencies in Nigeria in the name of politics is jeopardizing the lives and properties of our innocent citizens in Nigeria. I want to also caution our insecurity merchants and conflict merchants in Nigeria to be cautious with utterances. Since the return of my children in the last 2 days, or yesterday evening when I was able to visit them, a lot of people have been spending a lot of time coming with permutations on how these children were released, what happened. For us in Kaduna, what is more important is the self-returns of our children. We're happy they're here with us.
The state government is hopeful to reunite the children with their families in the coming days.
Hold on there, my sister. Hold on there. You just heard what the governor said. People are coming with different permutations, asking how they were released. He don't care about it. As for him and his state, they are glad their children are free. There is no question from the Zoom media. How were they freed? How were they released? What was the discussion? Nothing like that was asked by the Zoom media. But you saw the Western media asking those critical questions. This is why we tell you, we the Biafrans in the Western world, we cannot partake in a banana republic like that. We cannot be part of them. We cannot be part of this contraption called Nigeria. Nigeria is a company. Nigeria is operating like a company. In a company where they believe that it's all about maximizing profit, they will do everything. They will exploit the poor. They will exploit the most vulnerable. They will exploit the people. They will exploit those with the resources just for the owners of Nigeria to make abnormal profits. In a capitalist way of looking at things, Nigeria is being run like a capitalist system by the owners of Nigeria, where they don't care where the resources come from. If the oil is from your backyard, they don't care. All they know that oil must be siphoned and the money must come to the caliphate. Britain, oh Britain. Britain, you claim to be a Christian country. Britain, this is the situation you have left we the Biafrans in. The man they called Lord Lugard in 1914, you did this to us. A foreigner, a man with his wife, his then girlfriend Flora Shaw. They did this nonsense to us in the amalgamation of the northern and southern protest. It is very, very sad. It's very, very sad when I think about it, that during colonization, this problem happened. When we were free, pre-colonization, we were independent, enjoying ourselves until a foreign people came. The foreigners came, white people came, Britain came, and they overpowered us. They enslaved us. They took over our land, and they came with a nice word. They call it colonization, where they are coming to take over the colony. They called a nation a colony. That is the game of the caliphate. They always use some nice words. They learned that from Britain. Britain is responsible. The same way the caliphate, they are coming with Ruga just to come and give a piece of land to those who are using their cows to subjugate yourself. It's the same way. From Ruga, from a colony, they will take over your land. Do not fall for the same trick. Do not fall for the same games they are playing. Britain is responsible for what we are going through. We the Biafrans, we are saying we want out. We are done with this nonsense. What is happening in the land of Biafra is very, very strange to us. That men dressed in Fulani uniform, they come to kill us. They come to subjugate us. And when we try to defend ourselves, they call us the terrorists. Unbelievable. We thank God we now have a Biafra Republic government in exile. We thank God we have our Prime Minister. And we thank God we now have a cabinet. To my Prime Minister, Mazi Ekpa, Simon and Joko, I want you to know that we love you. We the people, we the 80 million Biafrans, we are with you. Keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the rising sun. The goal is Biafra. The objective is to attain Biafra. And the ultimate prize is the nation, the rebirth of a new nation. They call it the birth of a nation, but I will call it the rebirth of a new nation. Biafra is coming this year. Biafra will be declared this year because we are sick and tired of dealing with this nonsense, this archaic lifestyle, this backward lifestyle happening in that Zone Republic. We are saying to Britain, when we declare Biafra, do not partake, do not get involved, because we are done with this nonsense. We cannot continue with a life like that. The Nigeria you see today, you shall see no more. My people, I will rest my case for now. From me, from here, for now, I'm gonna say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I remain yours truly, Biafra Superstars Media. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Lugard, Bloomington, Lord Lugard, and it's wild Flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation. Ever since annihilation, nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Odudua, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.